good to come out and talk with y'all about interviews and stuff like that. My name is Missy Garner, and I started in the banking industry in 1989. I've always worked for the same institution. I started as in bookkeeping as a part-time, and I worked there my senior year in high school. After I graduated, I went full-time with the bank, and I had the opportunity to go to take some college classes to help further my banking career. I started in bookkeeping, left the bookkeeping department and went to the loan department. And from the loan department, I went to our back office loan operations department, which we call the credit department. And there I checked for compliance on loan documents and different things like that. And then when I left our credit department, I went out to a branch to be I was a loan officer's assistant at the branch. And I had the opportunity to go to Vanderbilt for a class in loan consumer credit. And that gave me a certificate to be a loan officer. And so I was a loan officer for a little while, and then I went into the management position as a branch manager. I managed two branches for a total of 10 years, and then I left the branch managing position to work in as a credit analyst. And as a credit analyst, I learned how to read tax returns for businesses and to see if they had the ability to repay a loan. And then from there, I went back in as a loan officer, but this time I could actually lend money to businesses. And that's where I'm at today. And Ms. Towns has asked me to come in and talk to you guys on what we look for when we interview someone for a job. And the first thing, I guess, when someone walks into my office for an interview, I guess the dress is a big issue. You want to make sure that you show up for your job interview dressed properly. And not every job will be the same. But in banking, when you come in, we look to make sure that you are dressed professional, because we are, if you're taking a frontline position, which we call a teller, an entry job level, you want to make sure that you have, women dress pants or skirts, dresses, and I know that the body piercings are big now. And at United Community, the policy on that is women can only have earrings, and the men cannot have any body piercings, visible body piercings. And then the tattoos also is a big thing these days. And our policy on that is if you have one, you have to keep it covered. So if you have any kind of tattoo on your arms, we ask you to wear long sleeves, or if you have any on your leg, any visible tattoos, they have to be covered with something. And I guess the next thing, the men cannot have any visible piercings. So if you have an earring, you would have to remove it to work at United Community. Does anyone have any questions about the dress code? Okay. Moving right along, the next thing that we look for is when you come into the office, if you make eye contact with us, because you're going to be dealing with customers. So you want to, if you walked into a bank and your teller didn't look you in the eye, how would that make you feel?
I didn't trust them.
Right. So that's what, as a teller, as well as an employee of a bank, you want to win your customers' trust. So if I make eye contact with you, that means that I'm concerned, I want to take care of you. And we also look for, if you smile, speak clearly, because it's important. We are a customer service institution. So not only we have people that deal with customers on the phone, they're not face to face. We have an office that houses people that answer phones all day long. So they either are capable of helping the customer answer questions, or they transfer them off to another person within the institution. So even though they're not face to face with the customer, they still have to be polite and and be cheery, because that person on the other end can tell if you're not, if you're just being short with them. So So we strive to have good customer service. And then the next thing is to always, these are just a few things that we look for. When you leave, go to exit your interview, be sure that you shake hands and thank that person or people that are interviewing you, because they've taken time out of their day to meet with you and interview you. So always be sure that you thank them before you leave. So, and then I'm going to touch on a few questions that we might ask, and this will give you an opportunity to kind of prepare yourself when you do go for interviews. First of all, I probably suggest that if you're going for an interview, the company that you're going to, I would probably research that company and find out, what they do. And usually on websites you'll see they may have pictures of some of their employees and things like that. So you can kind of look and see what they might expect in dress code, or what their goals are, if they're customer service driven and things like that. So they might ask you, tell me about yourself. So before you go to that interview, you want to prepare yourself. If they ask me to tell them about me, then you're going to want to make sure that you have a good response. And because I guess the worst thing would be if you weren't prepared when you went in for your interview. And then the next question you might have, why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work for my business? So that when you do your research, you might think of, what if they ask me why? Then you would have an answer of why, that you wanted to work there. And I know at the bank we deal with upset customers. So I always ask people, how do you work under pressure? How do you work with someone that's upset, or so you might think about that. And then a question that some people do ask is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? So you kind of want to have a plan, if this is just going to be a temporary job, or if you want to work for the company and you want to move up in the company. I know that United Community has a wonderful program where you can move up in the company. We have all kinds of training. Our main office is housed in Blairsville, Georgia. And so we have an actual training facility out there, and you can go there and you can train. We do teller training, we do customer service representative training, we do loan training, and we also have a actual facility where the tellers can go and actually go through a teller window. So, and then they have management training. You can just keep going on and on. So you have the capability to move up in the institution. So, and last but not least, Ms. Towns asked me to talk about a couple of instances where I've had to let someone go. I guess the first one that I could tell you about would be I had a person who was a teller, and she had trouble balancing her cash drawer. And so when you're given a cash drawer, you are responsible for that money. And if you come up short, that means that you've given too much money out of your cash drawer. And so you're responsible for that, and that's actually, if you give out too much money, you're losing money for the bank, and we don't like that either. But she continued to have issues with that, and we talked to her and about it. We did a verbal, and I explained to her how important it was that she try to do better on balancing her teller drawer. And then the next step would be a written, we had to write her up, and then the next step would be termination. So, and we also had the same person, we had issues with customer service. Some days she wouldn't be friendly with the customers, and we had complaints and things like that. So customer service is a big thing that we take it very seriously. And then the next situation was social media. I had an employee who posted things out on social media that was not appropriate, And when you work for a company, some companies ask you to sign a conduct policy thing, and if you don't abide by that, then they do have the right to terminate you. So she was putting things out there that was not appropriate, and she represented our institution. So we went through the same steps with that about verbal, written, and then termination. And she also told me one day that she had to leave work early to go pick her child up, a sick child. And 30 minutes later, she was on social media posting pictures. She was out shopping with her friends and going to lunch and things like that. So she wasn't honest with me. So always remember when you work for someone to be honest. So that is huge, huge to be honest. So does anyone have any questions? No questions.
That's okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Clark.